Welcome everybody to this press conference with the Swedish and Indian defense ministers. Defense Minister Hultqvist, please.
Thank you so much. Sweden has today signed an agreement of protective security with India, aiming to protect classified information that can be exchanged between the parties within our defense cooperation. Sweden and India have since many years a very good bilateral relationship. Last year, the Prime Minister received his Indian colleague Mr. Narendra Modi here in Stockholm. This meeting was an expression of our country's mutual engagement and signing a mutual action plan for further cooperation. I visited India in my role as Minister for Defense in 2016. I have today the pleasure to welcome India's Minister for Defense, Nirmala Sitharaman. Representatives for our countries have visited each other frequently, at least within the areas of innovation, trade and investment, smart cities, and next-generation transports, as well as women's skills development and empowerment, and of course, defense. Since 2009, Sweden and India have a memorandum of understanding within our defense cooperation. Our countries have, since the signing of the memorandum of understanding, conducted 7 bilateral meetings in that format, and the last was held in Delhi in December 2018. We have today a good and productive discussion on how to further develop this cooperation, and I'm glad for this possibility to meet. Det avtal vi idag undertecknat möjliggör, efter beslut i varje enskilt fall, ett ömsesidigt delande av säkerhetsklassificerad information mellan länderna. Sverige har sedan 50 år tillbaka ingått liknande avtal med drygt 30 länder i världen samt EU och NATO. Försvarets materielverk har under 2017, enligt med regeringens bemyndigande från 2009, förhandlat med indisk motpart och kommit överens om förslag till generellt säkerhetsskyddsavtal där resultatet sedan har redovisats för Försvarsdepartementet. Av det föreslagna avtalet framgår det att för den indiska motparten giltigt för de myndigheter som inryms i indiska försvarsministeriet, medan det för svensk del täcker in samtliga myndigheter som omfattas av säkerhetsskyddslagstiftningen. Beslutet är varken förknippat med kostnader eller behov av finansiering. Thank you so much. Please, Minister.
Your Excellency, Mr. Peter Hultqvist, Defense Minister of Sweden, distinguished members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here in the beautiful city of Stockholm. I wish to express my gratitude to the Swedish side for organizing this visit and for the gracious hospitality extended to me and my delegation. India and Sweden share close and friendly ties based on long-term synergies and shared interests. Our relations are built on strong foundations of democratic values and common approaches to inclusive social and economic development, rule of law, disarmament, free enterprise, and multilateralism. Recent high-level political visits have reinvigorated and strengthened the India-Sweden relationship. The joint statement issued in April 2018 after the meeting between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Prime Minister Stephen Löfven has set a clear roadmap of our bilateral relations for the future. Specifically, it envisages closer cooperation in the field of defense and innovation, which is the focus of my visit. Defense cooperation has traditionally been a strong facet of ties between India and Sweden. Swedish companies have been supplying defense equipment for Indian armed forces for several decades. India is keen to enhance defense cooperation with Sweden, especially on defense manufacturing and technology. The signing of the India-Sweden MOU for cooperation in the field of defense and defense industry, and subsequent constitution of a joint working group has helped us to develop and support wide-ranging engagement. Indian public sector and private sector have established close business interactions with Swedish defense industry. Today, we held extensive discussions on further expanding our defense partnership. I would like to convey my appreciation for Sweden's strong support for Make in India since its inception. We have agreed to work towards more joint projects between Swedish and Indian companies, especially for manufacturing of defense equipment in India. Several specific areas have been identified in this regard, where Sweden has developed niche capabilities which are of interest for India. Both our governments will work to fully support technology partnerships and manufacturing ventures in India by Swedish companies, either on their own or through tie-ups with Indian companies. I also invited Swedish companies to be active participants in the defense industry corridors being set up in India. The signing of the General Security Agreement between India and Sweden today will provide a facilitating framework for greater cooperation on high and cutting-edge technology and manufacturing. It also envisages exchange of information on defense and security-related matters which are of mutual interest and which, of course, the Minister himself has referred to. We would like to see a broad-based defense engagement with Sweden, covering greater military-to-military engagement, collaboration in defense R&D and innovation, cooperation on specialized areas such as UAVs and other platforms. We have also proposed a dialogue on enabling a greater understanding for us in India on the successful model of collaboration between government, industry, and academia in building a wide-ranging and technologically advanced defense ecosystem in Sweden. My discussions with the Defense Minister today covered all of these issues in detail. I'm heartened by the positive and constructive approach of the Swedish government to these ideas and proposals. I also called on the Prime Minister, His Excellency Stefan Löfven, earlier today, who reiterated the intention of the government of Sweden to further deepen and strengthen the bilateral partnership with India. In my discussions today with the political leadership of Sweden, I reiterated India's strong commitment to take forward our substantive and mutually beneficial bilateral partnership. We also discussed international issues of mutual interest. I conveyed our appreciation at Sweden's continued support for India's membership in the expanded UNSC, and for India's membership in the multilateral export control regimes. I congratulated Sweden on successful completion of 2-year term of its non-permanent membership of the United Nations Security Council for the term 2017 to 19, and recognized the constructive contributions made by Sweden. Both our countries are committed to addressing terrorism based on zero tolerance and collective efforts to combat this menace. I also took this opportunity to welcome the continued progress in overall trade and economic ties. We are looking forward to India-Sweden Business Leaders Roundtable to be held on 22nd February 2019 in New Delhi, and hope that exchanges such as these would ensure continued expansion of trade and investment between our two countries. Overall, we are hopeful that we can sustain and expand on the ongoing momentum of our bilateral ties, especially in the defense field, which was the main focus of my discussions today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ministers. Questions?
The agreement signed today, how will that positively contribute to the Make in India program?
I think it gives a very good framework which the two countries have agreed upon to have greater collaboration in technical and also innovation-related sites. So that would lead to a lot of joint activities, which I think will have a direct bearing on the Make in India.
Well, that concludes this press conference. Thank you.